Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today, inshallah, we'll be continuing the same topic, Ar-Rahmān and Ar-Rahēm. And we talked about the structure of these two names that they are on the structure of Mubaligha, yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is extreme in the trait of mercy, and He subhanahu wa ta'ala has abundant mercy. His mercy doesn't diminish. He doesn't run out of it. Everything is filled with His mercy, and it envelops everything. It surrounds everything. And dua we did yesterday in the end had the structure Arham. Arham is the af'alu tafdil. It's the ism tafdil, which means the topmost, meaning there is no one above Him. He is best out of best, and no one is more merciful than Him. So He is Arhamur Rahimin. And all of these blessings that we are surrounded with, including paradise and skies and earth that we're living in, and all the things that are on earth for us, supporting our livelihood here, all of these are, it's not that we deserve them, it's out of Allah's special mercy that we have these blessings. Yesterday we were putting a little effort in looking around what we are surrounded with, which is complete mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's continue. So it is due to the mercy of Ar-Rahmān Ar-Rahēm is that He provides us protection with His content, with His rida from His anger, and with His forgiveness from His retribution, and from Himself within Himself. Like when the mother is angry, a child runs towards the mother. Similarly, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is angry with us, we are supposed to run towards Him too. Due to His mercy, He created the female of same kind for the male and placed love and mercy between them to establish connection between them with which the generations continue, along with the attainment of pleasure. Due to His glorified mercy is that He made some of the creation dependent on one another for completion of their work, and they are completely self-sufficient. If they were completely self-sufficient from each other, their work would cut off and there would be corruption in their livelihood. Imagine someone who decides that they don't want to live together in a community with other people and he would just go far away, live alone. He has to grow his own food. He has to arrange everything for himself, whereas here we just go and buy it from the grocery store. Farmers are supported by the markets. They're selling their products in the market. And because of this, we are able to learn far better skills, and doctors are able to provide the services. Imagine a doctor had to grow his own food. So because of this interdependence, we are able to live a way better life. And this is Allah's blessing that He taught us all of that. And we are social human beings. We are social. It's our need as well. Even if somebody is able to, they manage to fulfill their basic needs, eventually they will need to socialize. Otherwise, they'll have mental breakdown. And from the completion of His mercy is that He made His slaves rich and poor, mighty and meek, capable and dependent, caretakers and ones in need of care. Then He made them all in need of Himself, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are interdependent, and then even the rich ones, they are not self-sufficient. They are also dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then He predominated all of them with His mercy, like He mentioned in Surah Fatir, ayah number 15. يا أيها الناس أنتم الفقراء إلى الله والله هو الغني الحميد. O mankind, it is you who are in need of Allah, and Allah is self-sufficient, praiseworthy. And throne of Allah is the greatest of all the creation, and mercy of Allah is the greatest of all of His traits. So now we're talking about the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the greatest creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rose above His throne, which is the greatest creation, with His greatest trait, mercy. And He predominated all living beings. Like it is mentioned in Surah Taha, number 5. Ar-Rahmān Ar-Rahēm istawa. The most gracious Allah rose over the mighty throne in a manner that suits His majesty. And when He rose over His throne with this name, Ar-Rahmān, He imposed on Himself in writing and placed it near Him on His throne that His mercy precedes His anger. This statement is like a promise on himself as a rule of morality, meaning no one else can impose that on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He himself imposed this rule on himself, that he will be merciful towards his slaves. He will erase their sins and forgive them and overlook from their mistakes and give them respite and as a forbearance and leniency. We learn from the hadith, Prophet ﷺ said, when Allah completed the process of creation, he wrote near him on his throne that my mercy will precede my anger, and it is mentioned in Bukhari and Muslim. Now imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned Al-Qahhar or Al-Jabbar, Al-Arsh Istawa, what would be our state? No one would remain on the face of earth if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would become the compeller. No, he mentioned he's Ar-Rahmān. As Ar-Rahmān, he is taking the authority. He is the owner of everything. As Ar-Rahmān, he is mentioning himself to be the most merciful when he is taking or predominating us all with this trait. Allah mighty and majestic created us out of his mercy, and the education that he gave us is also his mercy, and that is mentioned in Surah Ar-Rahmān in the beginning. Ar-Rahmān علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. The most compassionate taught the Quran. He created man and taught them speech. He subhanahu wa ta'ala made his name as the introduction of the surah and connected the whole surah with it and then completed it with the ayah. تبارك اسم ربك ذي الجلال والإكرام. Blessed is the name of your Lord, the possessor of majesty and honor. So subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is connecting back to his name, that Ar-Rahmān is the one whose name is blessed. And the whole surah is filled with all kinds of blessings that we are surrounded with. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that he taught us, he gave us education, and he gave us all those blessings that we can benefit from. And we also learned that name of Allah is blessed, which is actually specifically opening the surah is Ar-Rahmān. But name of Allah, when it is mentioned on anything that we are doing, that special barakah is placed because of his name being mentioned in that thing, in the work, wherever we are doing. So whenever it's not mentioned, then those things and that work is vacant from the blessing of the blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name places in it. So we should always remember to say Allah's name, say Bismillah when we're starting something, so that we have blessing in all the work that we do. The mercy of Allah fills everything and covers the pious and sinners, ones who submit and ones who don't submit. In fact, everyone lives in their life because of Allah's genuine mercy in day and night. So we are all alive, we are all enjoying all the blessings only because it is Allah's Ar-Rahmān, his name Ar-Rahmān, his special mercy, his mercy that is unconditional for everyone without any condition. But for believers, there will be exclusive mercy in the worldly life, and also in the hereafter. Then there is a special mercy for those who are merciful towards others. We learn it from a hadith that Prophet ﷺ said, indeed, Allah is merciful to his slaves who are merciful. So when we are merciful towards others, we actually earn more mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we grow closer to Allah, we are growing closer to his mercy as well. That's another way of deserving for more mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever the slave is obedient of Allah and his messenger and stops from what they forbid from, then he is more deserving of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like it is mentioned in Surah Al-Imran, ayah number 132. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. And obey Allah and the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam so that you may obtain mercy. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala named his book as a mercy in Surah Nahl, ayah number 89. وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً وَبُشْرَى لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. And we had sent down to you the book the Quran, as an exposition of everything, a guidance, a mercy, and glad tidings for those who have submitted themselves to Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Quran as a Huda and Rahmah and Bushra in this ayah. Also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala names paradise as a mercy, and it is the great mercy of Allah, the greatest mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of all those creations that He created for His righteous slaves, which is mentioned in Surah Al Imran 107. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ ابْيَضَّتْ وُجُوهُهُمْ فَفِي رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. And for those whose faces will become white, they will be in Allah's mercy, paradise. They will live in it forever. So they will be in Allah's mercy and they will be living in it forever. And scholars have said this Rahmah mentioned here is actually referring to paradise, because people who are good, who are going in a good place, who will have radiant faces, will be in paradise and they will live in it forever. And Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent as a mercy for mankind, and it is mentioned in Surah Al-Anbiya 107. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we have sent you, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as only a mercy for the alameen, meaning all the mankind, jinn, and all that exists in the alam, and it includes all that is on the earth and all those that is in the sky. And when the slaves connect what is between him and Ar-Rahman by the worship and obedience, and also he connects what is between him and the creation. And we mentioned that when we obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we deserve His mercy, and when we are merciful towards others, we deserve mercy. So when a person connects these two things, then his actions become good. Then he is deserving of more mercy, and then his worldly and religious affairs are fixed, and also affirm of afterlife. So his affairs of dunya and his affairs of afterlife are good, they're in good state, and he achieves his wishes from his Mawla, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's when a person is in the special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he makes dua and he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then chances are more of acceptance of his du'as. But when he cuts off between himself and Ar-Rahman, and he cuts off with his close relations, then his affairs of word and religious life are severed, and also afterlife, and he gets deprived of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we know that mercy will be limited to only the people, the believers in the afterlife. So from here we are also learning that even in the religious life, those who are not obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have no benefit in terms of their religion. Maybe they might get a lot of wealth in word, but the satisfaction of the heart is a great blessing. The contentment of the heart is a great blessing. And you will find people will be rich and they'll be famous, but they'll not have contentment of the heart, because the contentment of heart is only a special mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And heart only finds peace in the zikr and in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Allah intends good for the people of earth, He spreads the effects of His name Ar-Rahman by populating the land and by giving life to His slaves with prosperity and happiness. And when He intends to punish, He removes the effects of His name by making the earth drought-stricken and struck by earthquake, which makes the lives of people miserable. And whoever reflects about this great existence with insight will see that mercy of Allah fills everything. Everything that is in the skies and earth, like the sea is filled with water, or the atmosphere is filled with the air. Thus He glorified is the most merciful among those who show mercy, and the best judge among those who judge. He places everything at its appropriate place, yani His mercy precedes His anger, and not vice versa. So He has kept His mercy above everything, because He is Ar-Rahmān and Ar-Rahēm and Ar-Rahmān Ar-Rahēm. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who deserve His mercy by obedience, and grant us ability to worship Him to the best of our abilities. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen.